I'm going to go over vertical ducts, which I know is a frustration for a lot of people. There's a couple ways you can do this, but I think there is the sort of, trial and error method, and then there is the sort of fudge method, which we're going to maybe utilize both here. So I would recommend trying to get this to work out with the trial and error method, and if that doesn't work, then we're going to utilize the same sort of method as last semester to fudge these things into place. Again, I created a section right here in front of my AHU. That's section 1. I hid the wall at the back, so you can actually see what's going on with these units here. So for vertical systems, for vertical duct systems, let's take the first scenario where I just need to go up a single floor and duct into this. That's not a chase necessarily, right? A chase goes through multiple floors here. I'll show that next. But what I would probably do is I would take this AHU and I would just give it a little bit of room, off of it, maybe a foot or so. You can see there that as a foot. You can right click this and then you can create similar. And what this is going to do is when I draw from top to bottom, it's going to draw directly in the section plane. So I can actually just draw anywhere here, and you can see that that duct pops up, and if I go to a level 11 ceiling plan, you can see it's right in the middle of that plane because the reference plane, or the actual work plane, was right on that section plane. So I think the easiest thing here to do is to just align that. You can take that edge and then you can tab over to get the edge of that duct. And then you know that that is in the right place. That's probably the best method, especially if you're going to make a chase. Let's look at the section here. To go up multiple floors, because then you know it's going to be aligned with all of your AHUs as you copy and paste. And these can all be grouped and they'll still try and connect with that chase. So if I just have a single floor, for instance, what I could do is, what I need to figure out is actually how this connects. So the first thing that you want to do is still draw in that vertical duct and align it, but then you can pull that duct into place here. So let's try and get that, and then try to get it to connect. So what it's telling us is that there's not enough room. So we need to move this over a little bit and then try and connect again. And eventually that will get it to work. It might be a case that there's not enough room this way either, so you might have to increase the size of that duct. Now this elbow is quite big. It's 1.5 times the width of the duct. So we can actually change this to 1. We can edit this type, and we can actually change the rules. So you probably want to edit the type of the radius, duplicate it to a 1W, and change that to a 1. So that you can get a much tighter radius here. The tighter the radius, the less efficient the duct, but it allows us to fit in much tighter spaces. So now this will allow us to connect to here, and actually this should work pretty well. You can hover over where the middle line of the duct at the back is, and if you connect, if you have enough space here, especially if you've changed this to a 1, you can see that it wants to connect pretty easily. And then I can change this back to a 1W as well. And so that's a nice little system here, and I can do the same thing for the return system. An alternative method is to right click, create similar, and you can actually have this auto connect to where it needs to be, and then you can have it go vertically. But I think it's much better to just draw the duct in, align it to where it needs to be, and then try to connect it to exactly where it needs to be. So again, I'm going to right click, create similar. I'll just draw in a vertical duct here, and you can align this either in 3D or in 2D to a plane that they share. So we'll align that. Whoops, that's the wrong one. AL, align that to that. And now you can see that these can start to connect into each other. And this is actually a second way if you just want to tap directly into it by going beyond and then just diving the duct right into it. But if I were to undo that and this were to be behind it or in line with it, you can see that it's going to prompt me to sort of finagle this into place. Right, and again, it might take some trial and error here. You might need to pull this out. Oops, and then pull that to where it needs to go. You could try going really far out here, and that's a little bit too far because we got two elbows there. But you can kind of use this as a rule of thumb. Like I know I need at least this much space and this much space. So now I can try and connect these, and that should work. That should help you out. And then again, I can pull this down and connect it to the midline of the duct behind it. And actually, this connected to that duct, so that was sort of an accident. But I can always delete that connection, and I can pull this in 3D to connect into this. So this is just a tap, it goes straight into it. So that's one way. I'm going to go ahead and delete these, and I'll show you how we can utilize a second way to make these look like they connect. And that is to draw go to Systems, Duct, or we can right click on what we need to create and create similar. Just create a vertical duct and then align it to where we need it to be. So we're going to go ahead and align here to that side with this side. And then we can actually just pull it into place. Like we can literally just sort of move it to where it needs to go. And then we don't have to have any connections there. This one should still connect as we want it to, but we can also right click this, create similar. We can go into a level 11 ceiling plan. And if you go up higher than where you need to go, this is how chases work as well. So if you need to know how to do chases, this is how you do it. You just pull up beyond where you need the connection to happen. And then if we create a similar duct here, we can tap directly from this into this. And so it just taps into the side of the duct. So you can pull this up to wherever you need it to be, and then that's essentially your chase, right? So again, if you're having a hard time getting that elbow to work, we have much more room on this project, I think. And always just try and push and pull things in the section. And they'll eventually connect, and you can change that elbow to a 1W, which is a custom radius dimension. If that's not working, you can always sort of fudge things into place like this by jamming it into the AHU. You can also then pull it down, and actually this might even connect here to the with an elbow, but this is fine as well. So I can utilize this section here as well. So it is a lot of trial and error. Like there's a ton of trial and error going on here, but typically if it says no auto route solution is found, it's probably because you just don't have enough room for this thing to turn. You could duct directly up into your system as well. So if your AHU is right over your runs, if it could be at the end of a hallway, for instance, that's also a possibility where you would just get this elbow to work out, or you make it align with where the duct needs to be, and then you just pull it straight up into the duct. The same thing will try and happen. It will try and pull an elbow this way, but you can just pull the duct a little bit past it so it taps directly into it. And that's a way to sort of forego the connection. So I hope that helps with vertical ducts and chases. Sections are your friends here, elevations are your friends here, and you can utilize like a 3D mechanical scheme. You can isolate just your ducts, you can hide all of your groups, you can just have ducts and mechanical equipment as well. And then you can see what's going on in 3D as well as 2D sections and plans.